Coming to you from the campus center on the campus of Golden West College. This is the inaugural Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review. I am Rashaan Haylock, the voice of your Golden West Rustlers, alongside head coach Nick Mitchell. Out here, got a pretty nice crowd here at the Student Center, Coach. First time we're going to do this. We'll be with you every single week throughout the duration of the football season. Rustlers, of course, coming off of a huge opening. That's right. Give it up. Give it up for the Rustlers, guys. Rustlers, a season opening 33-0 win at Glendale. First of all, Coach, what were some of your thoughts on opening the game and such a significant matter, being able to come up with a shutout, first shutout here in a few years?
Well, with the new schedule, the new 2-year schedule, we were able to play a lower division team. So I thought that we went out and did what we wanted to do, what we expected to do. I thought there was a good chance that we could shut them out if we played well on defense and limited our mistakes, and which, you know, that was a bit of an issue. I think we had about 150 yards in penalties. But other than that, you know, the offense kind of started slow. They came around. It's the first game. We don't really know how things are going to happen. We're used to hitting on each other for about 3 weeks. And then all of a sudden you get a chance to hit somebody else. And I thought defense started fast. Offense just took a little bit to get going, but then they turned it on late. Played really well for us. Defense, I thought, you know, in getting 2 turnovers, 1 score, scoop and score for a touchdown, and then the 1 interception was huge. And so it was a fun night. It was a good way to start the season, and I thought we did what we thought we could do.
Let's talk about that offense for a little bit. I had an opportunity to talk to assistant head coach Sean Corcoran after the game. And the defense is always a little bit ahead of the offense in terms of the first few weeks of training camp, maybe even the first couple of weeks of the season. But it was like a punt fest, back and forth, back and forth. The offense had a hard time finding its rhythm. Coach Sean told me that it could have been a little bit of nerves in there with it being the season opener. What did you see offensively?
Yeah, you know, it's always that way. And, you know, offense really, you know, they have the tough part of any opener, you know, anytime you're going through camp, because they're the one that have all the different alignments and assignments. Defense, we can really line up with just one call, you know, all night long if we needed to. So there's far more of a comfort level with the defensive side. With the opposite side, you know, there's far more that they have to see what's going on, how the defense is going to adjust to them, how their coverage skills are going to be, you know, what they're going to do with their run fronts. With us, they're used to seeing that on a daily basis, and now they have to go and readjust to somebody else. So I think it's normal that there is kind of a slow start. You kind of have to get a feel for the opponent. And then once you start to get that feel, you know, hopefully then by the, you know, 3rd, 4th drive, 2nd quarter, then you kind of get down in your comfort zone and you can move the ball from there.
Let's stick with the offense. I thought a bright spot for the offense as a whole was the running of Gabriel Ford. A huge night for him, 17 carries, 133 yards, and a touchdown. Had that huge run to start the second half, which led to a scoring drive. Quite a debut for him after coming out here from Georgia.
Yeah, you know, his high school film that we saw was really good. And then he went to Georgia Military College, and I think he kind of, you know, dipped down a little bit, was not as good as I thought his high school film showed. So we came out to Golden West and really kind of started to kind of grab the bull by the horn, so to speak. Steadily got better. Thought his body composition changed a little bit while he was here, lost a little bit of weight, maybe got a little quicker, faster. We tried to work with him, talk to him about, you know, make sure we're trying to hit the ball up inside. Looked like coming from Georgia Military, had a tendency to bounce the ball outside a lot. And so just want to try to work with him to use that speed, you know, try to make that one cut, get vertical. You know, offensive line did a really, really good job making some holes for him. But more than anything, I thought, you know, while the rushing yards were excellent, you know, the blocking really was the key for most of the night. It really kind of showed a lot of toughness and stuck his nose in there many times, picking up blitzes. So, yeah, it was a good first game for him.
He's a big back, too. 6'1", 215 pounds.
He probably came in at about 230 pounds.
Really? Did he get on that Nick Mitchell workout plan?
He's been trimming down ever since, which probably is, you know, part of, you know, his, you know, getting that speed back and getting his legs back under him and all. That's, you know, it's been huge because he does have a lot of speed. So, you know, if he can get a crease, he can he can get a good chunk out of it.
One thing Nathan Percy and I talked about on the broadcast Saturday night was the fact, and you can tell me if I'm dead wrong on this, but as a back, you like to see guys be able to move, be able to be shifty, but he was rarely caught on his heels. He was always on his toes. Kind of a different running style than I've seen from guys here in the past. How far off am I on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, the idea is, one cut and go and get vertical. And what happens, I think, a lot of times is guys come in from the high school ranks and, they want to sit there and run their feet and kind of juke and all before they even get to the line of scrimmage where, it needs, the game is built on speed. And so, the quicker that they can get to the line of scrimmage, quicker they can read their blocks, whether it's zone blocking, they're reading the center of the guard. The quicker they can recognize that, put that foot in the ground and get vertical, the better off we're going to be. The less the O-line has to hold their blocks, the quicker we can get into the linebacker, the second and third level of the defense. So some people are a little more natural with that, and some people it takes a little longer to work with that. But, I think it's typical for getting a lot of the running backs out of the high school ranks.
This is the Chronic Tacos Rustler Review right here on SportsNetUSA.net. We're at the Student Center here on the campus of Golden West College. Rashaan Haylock here alongside Nick Mitchell. Sticking with the offensive theme here, second quarter, things just opened up. You guys kind of blew open the game. You put up a 20 spot after going scoreless in the first quarter. What started to click?
I just think the offense kind of started to settle down and do what they had been doing all camp. I kind of thought it was a matter of time, probably expected it to maybe happen a little sooner than it did. I think everybody kind of expected it to happen a little sooner than it did. But, ultimately I think that we ended up doing what we thought we could do. It just took us a little longer to get to that point in time. I thought without a doubt, our offense was better than their defense. So it was just a matter of time, as long as we executed. And there is that, the first game jitters. So there is that settle down period. But when that did take place, then I thought that, we went to work and took care of the business.
To get the scoring started, pretty much just 32 seconds into that second quarter, it was Adam Vance hooking up with a familiar name, Amari Manning. Hadn't heard that name in a couple years after he sat out all of last season. It was good to see him back out there. His lone catch of the game for a touchdown. How good was it to see him back out there in a Rustler uniform?
Well, anytime we can see Amari out on the field, it's a good thing. Really missed him last year. He brings so much more to the offense, opens up so many other things. The defense have a tough time whether they're going to try to single him or whether they're going to double him. Unfortunately, he kind of a freak deal, ran into a cornerback while he was running a route and sprained his LCL. So he's going to be down for probably at least a couple weeks. It's unfortunate, but it's the way it is. Next man steps up, and we'll be fine with it. It actually gives somebody else an opportunity to step forward and show what they can do. So we'll lose a little bit, with of course Zamari's skill set. But that's fine. It'll give other guys opportunity, and with that, we're going to have a new quarterback for the remainder of the season. So we'll adjust to that. But with the Zamari deal, hopefully it's just, a couple weeks, and we'll have him back out there. You
mentioned a new quarterback, Adam Vance, who we're talking a little bit off the air, so he's out for the remainder of the season.
Yeah, again, kind of a freak deal. We don't even really know when it happened, but he hit his non-throwing elbow, chipped a bone in there, didn't know about it. He was sitting on the sidelines on the bench and kind of put his elbow down on his thigh and kind of felt the tenderness, looked down there, it was all swollen. Finished playing. We got him out of there a little while later, just, late in the third quarter, whenever it was. And just rechecked it again on Monday. Still had the issue. When saw the doctor, they took x-rays, found that he did break it. They're unfortunately not even going to be able to put the cast on it for about 4 weeks. So his season is over right
before it could even started, right?
Yeah.
Vance, pretty impressive debut in this 2016 season, 11 of 21, 158 yards, 3 touchdowns in that win at Glendale. Unfortunately for him, he's going to be lost for the season. Adam Carr, perhaps next man up. We saw him play a little bit at Glendale. He was 1 of 2 for 10 yards. Big kid, 6'5", 210 pounds. Comes from a good football program in Sherman Oaks, Notre Dame. How does this offense change with him, perhaps, if he's the guy on Saturday?
The offense actually won't change too much because the two Adams, Vance and Carr, are fairly similar. They're more pocket passer types. So really, we're not going to change much at all with Carr. Dejon Dinkins played a little bit as well towards the end of the game. With Dejon, we could do some different stuff with the offense. We can definitely work more of our option game in it. And at the same time, Angel Matute, who was also a good freshman quarterback who we brought in that we had slid over to tight end, we will now bring him back in the mix at quarterback. And Angel also is probably about 6'4", 230, 240. Angel also allows us to, like Dejon, have that option part of the game. So, and that's really, a big part of the offense when we can use it, which we couldn't really do with Vance. Not really going to be Adam Carr's forte, although we ran a zone read, which I think he took for about 20-something yards. But, it's not what it's built around for those two guys, where with Matute and Dejon, we can do a lot more. We can open the offense up more, work our QB power read stuff. So it'll be, we'll kind of play it by ear, how it goes through the rest of the season. But right now, Adam Carr is a starter, and he's going to do a lot just like Adam Vance did. He'll throw the ball well. He's got a good, strong arm, smart kid back there. He'll make the right decisions. But then we'll also probably, work in Matute and Dinkins and work some of the option game as well. So it could be a two-headed horse type of deal. But we're going to kind of let it play out here, especially through Riverside, and see how it works.
We've seen you use multiple quarterbacks here before in the past, and a lot of times it has worked for you, minus that unforgettable season we're not even going to bring up when.
Right, similar deal.
Yeah.
When we lost the quarterback the first game. Yeah.
So we've seen oftentimes it's worked here. Go back to that second quarter, Matthew Posey had a fumble recovery for a touchdown. Sheldon White had that big 41-yard reception for a touchdown from Adam Vance. Rustlers go into the locker room at halftime up 20-0. You look at this wide receiving core. Of course, you're going to be down Manning this week. Samuel Flowers played a good game in the slot. Of course, White had that one touchdown as well. Who were you the most impressed with out of that wide receiving group on Saturday?
Well, it's a pretty well-rounded group for the most part. Zamari obviously is kind of a step above everyone else. And, it was impressive just to see Zamari out there again. He's a physical blocker. He goes up for the ball as good as anybody. So he's always impressive. His night was short-lived. What we look for, with the offense and whatnot, they really have to be two-dimensional. They have to be able to, run the routes, catch the ball. But, two, they have to be good, solid blockers as well, especially with the run game, with the option game and all that. So, that's one of the biggest things we look for is their ability to block on the perimeter and all. And for the most part, we did, a good job of blocking on the perimeter. I don't know that one individual stood out. But there were some good individual efforts. You mentioned with White, which was an excellent throw by Vance, to pull that one in and go. There's probably not one individual that I would point out other than I thought that as far as blocking goes, what we have seen, and we were going to actually look to redshirt Derek Deese, but actually kind of, probably glad that we did bring him out with the injury to Manning. But his blocking has been, excellent. That's what he'll bring to the game on the perimeter. When we had Lavaje Tuane many years back, who was only with us for one season, went on to start for 3 years at the University of Oregon. He bounced around in the NFL for a while. He was the MVP of the Rose Bowl when Oregon beat Wisconsin. His strength was blocking on the perimeter. I mean, that's what he did. That's what got him a scholarship to Oregon, was, the fact that he was tall and rangy. But he was not a burner. He had good hands, but he was really, would set the edge out there as good as anybody. And that's what, with Oregon's option offense, that's what he made a living doing out there. So we definitely look for that as well, as what they're doing in the run game. But, it's everything right now is a work in progress. So regardless of who did well or who did not do well, we need to take a step forward for this next week.
And Derek Deese, if that name sounds familiar, his daddy, same name, played for my San Francisco 49ers for a long time, won a couple Super Bowls with them. And so he comes from good stock. Actually caught a touchdown late in the game in the fourth quarter. Deese had a 36-yard touchdown pass from Vance, which made the score 33-0. Of course, that would be the final for the Rustlers as they improve to 1-0 on this short season and have a huge shutout win against Glendale. We'll talk about the defense in just a sec, but before we do that, let me remind you the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you by Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. Wake up early and treat yourself to a hearty breakfast burrito. Or if you're trying to watch the carbs, get yours in a bowl with the Breakfast Burrito, made from your choice of chorizo, bacon, machaca, or veggie. Chronic Tacos is open Sunday through Thursday, 8:30 a.m. to 9 p.m. and 8:30 to 9:30 on the weekends. Located inside the Terra Shopping Center. That's 7621 Edinger Avenue. That's 7621 Edinger Avenue. Or on the phone, 714-890-6100. That's Chronic Tacos, Huntington Beach at Terra. Make sure you visit them today. Now let's talk about this defense. Shutout. I'm talking to the defensive coordinator as well, in addition to the head coach.
Right.
Pitching a shutout in your first game of this season, what did you like about the way the defense was able to fly around?
Like you said, we did run to the ball. Anytime you can do that, you're going to have a chance for success. If we can line up correctly and play assignment football and we can run to the ball, try to be physical and make plays, it's going to be, we're going to win the majority of the games, I believe. I thought we did that well. I thought, I know I've said it before, but I thought we did what we, were supposed to do. We go out there, we played good run defense, ran to the ball well. When the ball was in the air, I thought we attacked it good. We scored a touchdown, which was, excellent. Anytime defense can score a touchdown, it's going to be, a good night for us for the most part. But as far as the game one, I thought that, we really, probably played, more of a, as complete game as we could, coming out of the gates, not sure what to expect, knowing that we played well pretty much throughout the camp. But obviously you're going to play in somebody else, and so you really never know, and so you get the jitters out, and then we settle down. But we played it pretty much throughout the night. I thought good defense when we made when we would rotate, late in the game. They put on a drive. Thought that maybe we weren't going to be able to keep the shutout. But those guys that were in there late in the game, they stood up, stood strong, made good stops when we needed them. So the defense coaching staff, we were very happy with the effort that night.
And so many times you see shutouts lost, right, at the end of the game,
right,
when maybe you got some of your twos or some of your threes in the game and they can't quite hold on. But as you mentioned, those guys stood up. They took the challenge, and they wanted to make sure they shut Glendale out.
Yeah, it actually, I think, dropped an interception there on that final drive. Nick Kunkel, I believe, had it in the hand. So, we even had a chance for another turnover at the game. But, obviously we have to take advantage of those, and that would have been a good reason for Glendale. They escaped that, so they're able to move down and finish the score as they were driving. But defense stood strong.
I thought the defensive line was unblockable for a good portion of the night. Damon Roberts, Jamie Diaz, DeMartini, Bobby Orlano, those guys got in there and created all kinds of havoc. Seems like I was calling Roberts' name all night long. What did you think about those guys?
Well, we've got a good veteran, full four sophomore defensive line with some good freshmen behind them. But probably the only spot on the team that's, has four starters that are all sophomores. So that's going to be huge for us. It's like having, four seniors out there. So they know, they've been there, they've been in those situations before. It even got a little tricky because I think Glendale really tightened down their splits to some really tight gaps. And so, it was tough for us to even get much of penetration. We weren't able to do some of the things we thought we could do later on once they made their adjustment. But then that also limits what they can do as well, being Glendale. Everything starts up front, as we always say, whether it's the offensive line on the offensive side or the defensive line on the defensive side. And so if that's how we can, consistently play up front, then we're always going to have a chance.
I hate to leave out KT Iacopo and also Tyler Vaimaona, those guys, they played terrific too as well in their debuts. You've had some terrific Mike linebackers in the duration that I've been here with this program and following this program. Joseph Inda, quite a debut. 11 tackles he's credited with, an interception, 2 pass breakups. What did you think about the sophomore out of Catella?
I don't know if he actually had that interception.
It was surprising to me. I'm looking at it right now.
I think that was Corey Garcia.
I thought it was Garcia, but
Joseph,
they credited Inda with it.
Stole it from him on the ground. But Joseph is a young man who we recruited out of Catella High School. He ended up going to Fullerton. Was not extremely happy with his experience there. We had a chance to get him back, which we took him back in a heartbeat. And he's been nothing but a leader for us throughout the off season, throughout the camp, and even through the first game. Wasn't sure, quite what to expect, since we didn't have him. He's been out for 2 seasons because he played 1 year at Fullerton, and I think he sat out a year. But he's not missed a beat and really, played excellent. Has played really well. I don't like to say excellent, but has played really well for us throughout the camp, with the pads on. And did not let down at all when we played against Glendale. And he's going to have to do that. Anytime, anything up the middle, you have to be strong, whether it's your defensive tackles, your Mike linebacker, your free safety, depending on how you play your defense. And so that's going to be huge, with that front and with our linebacker crew. We have one other sophomore linebacker, Kyle Manlingus, who actually is not playing yet because of an injury, but hopefully we'll be able to get him back. And that'll only help, with Joe and the rest of the crew. And I shouldn't forget Trevin Kahunanui, actually is a sophomore linebacker as well. And Trevin's kind of really been, a blessing in disguise because he's played, I think he's the backup at every position is Trevin right now. And so without him, there would be no rests for probably, just about anybody else on there. So when we're able to get Kyle Manlingus back, then that will probably give us 3 sophomore linebackers as well across the board, which will also be huge.
Yeah, I was joking with a member of your coaching staff before the game. What did you guys do to the SCFA to tick them off? When I look at this schedule,
yeah,
my gosh, of course, Riverside coming in this week, but Chaffee, Cerritos, Long Beach, that's all in the non-league before you get to the gauntlet that is the Southern League. What a doozy. This may be the toughest schedule I've seen since we've been here over the last 8-9 years.
Yeah, it's like the old Mission Conference.
Yeah.
When we were playing, Riverside, Mount Sac, El Camino, Cerritos, and then all of the Orange County schools, which was brutal enough as it was. I think we're by far the smallest school in the upper division. The fact that we're playing, all of the, not only just the good schools, but the large capacity schools, 20 plus thousand students, is a tribute to what we've done here. It's kind of that double-edged sword. We've had the best record in our conference the last 2 years. So every 2 years they redo the preseason. So we get the enviable task of going and playing the best teams from the other 2 upper division conferences. It is what it is. Excited to play the best. It's surely going to be a test. And then when we get to our conference play, we're going to be well tested. We'll be better, as good of tested as anybody else out there. So we'll get a chance to see where we're at, going through these next 4 games. And, obviously, of course, want to make it through healthy. That's the other thing, as you play the big schools, the bigger population schools, they're generally going to have, 150, even, 125, 150, 175 out for their teams. We started with below 100. I think we're probably right around 70 or so on the roster right now. So staying healthy is going to be huge for us. And so when you run a gauntlet like that, that's got to be key for our success later on in conference play.
Riverside coming off a 46-26 win at Victor Valley in their opener. So they start with 2 straight road games. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe this is the first time you guys have faced since the SoCal semis back in 2013.
Yeah.
You've faced Tom Kraft before, obviously.
Yes.
What do you expect from a Tom Kraft coach team?
He does what he does offensively. He's going to be a spread guy. He's spread from day one, probably one of the early adopters of the spread offense back when he was at Palomar and then San Diego State. Ran a version of it at Mount Sac, and he's been doing that for a while now. Since he's been at Riverside. Riverside has been good. Ever since he got there, they've been good year in and year out. They're always either in the state playoffs or they're just missing out on the state playoffs. And it's been no exception. But, they had almost 300 yards of penalties as well. So, they're going to have to, straighten some things out before they play us. They'll be talented as anybody that we play. They'll be big up front. They'll try and be physical. They're going to have good skilled players. They'll probably have a very good kicking game. It's kind of tough to see. We only have one game on them this year, and it was out at Victor Valley, and it was super windy out there. So kicking was really hard to get a feel for when we're watching the film. But generally all facets of the Riverside teams are solid, at least solid to really good. So we expect a really good team to roll in here Saturday night. And we, know that we need to take a step forward from that first game to that second game as well.
He always has a quarterback that puts up huge numbers. This time around, it's a local guy from Mission Viejo High School, Ian Feber.
Yep.
He had over 300 yards passing and 2 touchdowns. Mm-hmm. How do you make it uncomfortable for him?
Well, I don't think we're going to be able to let him just sit back and throw the ball. Coach Kraft wants to throw the ball. Without a doubt, but he's got a talented tailback, as talented probably as there is out there. That's going to be, part of our task is not letting Feber sit back there and feel comfortable. He's got 2 really good 6'5" receivers on the outside. He's got some talented 6-foot receivers on the inside. So there's a lot of ability for them to throw the ball and them to make plays in the passing game, which is, obviously, good for somebody who wants to throw the ball like Coach Kraft. So we cannot sit back there. We'll have to mix it up. We'll have to play our zone and some man, and we're definitely going to have to keep the pressure on him, as much as, we can without, kind of losing out on the back end and the secondary and the coverage wise. But we don't want him to sit back there. He's a veteran. I think he was an all-conference quarterback last year at Riverside. So we want to make sure that, we keep the pressure on him as much as we can, keep it uncomfortable for him.
And last thing before I let you go, Coach, there was an eventful offseason around these parts. People go to the Golden West website. There's a picture with you and Jim Harbaugh, in addition to the rest of your respective coaching staffs. He obviously a fiery guy. He's well known for kind of how he gets after it. You got an opportunity to see that firsthand right here on this campus as Michigan held a camp here. What did you take away from that experience?
The Michigan camp was
I don't see
different.
You wearing khakis, so I know it wasn't that.
Yeah, no. He is just like you think. We have University of Washington that comes and does their camp here each year, and this year we're fortunate to have University of Michigan as well, and Coach Harbaugh, and it was interesting. He has so much energy. It's unbelievable. I don't know where he gets it from. He must have coffee running through his veins or something. He came out there, and we had kind of an MC for the camp with an organization, the Inda Foundation helped put it on. He walked up, he just grabbed the microphone from the Inda Foundation guy. He took over, he started talking to the kids, and he led the drills. He was down there snapping balls to the quarterbacks, on the ground. He did everything. He does not allow anything to go under. There's no task that's too small for him. And the energy that he had was unbelievable. So if I take anything from him, it's the boundless amounts of energy that he somehow is able to harness nonstop. And I think that was like their second camp of the day. They're hitting like 2 camps a day. Michigan must have been on like 30-something camps, sitting there talking to Tyrone Wheatley, who is, a big-time tailback for him. And I just kind of asked him how the camps have been going and all. And, I said, is this like what, like your 15th, 20th camp? Or so he said, try 35th. I was like, how do you even do that? And Coach Harbaugh, he doesn't. I don't even know if he knows where he's at. He's looking down, sees Golden West on the ground. He's like, hey, Coach, all right, let's do this. And he just goes. And he doesn't stop for 2 hours. Nonstop. And then they got back in and probably off to the next camp up in LA. I don't know, but it was fun to work with them. We hope to kind of continue with the Pac-12 schools, keeping them down here, getting them in here for those camps because they're excellent.
That's awesome. That's a terrific story. Well, I know it gets a little chilly at LaBard, so if I ever see you in a G-Dub sweatshirt and some khakis, I know he rubbed off on you a little bit.
Right.
Thanks so much, Coach. Appreciate you
Rashaan,
for joining us. Coach Nick Mitchell, who each and every week right here on the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review, he will be joining us each and every week right here. We'll be here every Tuesday, 12:30 p.m. right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Appreciate you, Coach. We're going to be joined now by our Chronic Tacos Player of the Week, and that is none other than Gabriel Ford. As you guys do a little dipsy-do dungaroo. And while we have a moment, our fresh take of the week, we talked about it with Coach Adam Vance to Sheldon White. It was a 41-yard touchdown pass right before the end of the first half that put the Rustlers up 20-0. They had a 20-0 advantage going into the locker room at halftime en route to a 33-0 win over Glendale. And the Rustlers 1-0 will continue to get after it this Saturday. Of course, you'll see the game right here on SportsNetUSA.net. We'll have kickoff for you 6 p.m. from LaBard Stadium on the campus of OCC. And, of course, we'll have that for you right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Gabriel Ford now joins us. Is it Gabe or Gabriel? I don't want to get beat up.
Gabriel.
Gabriel? You prefer Gabriel? All right, so when I'm calling touchdown runs all throughout the year, I say Gabriel Ford.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, impressive debut for you. Now, I was talking to Coach about it a little bit, over 100 yards. You had a touchdown run as well. On only 17 carries, you averaged a whopping 7.8 yards per carry. How did you feel out there in your debut, putting on the Rustlers white for the first time?
It's been a long time. I got here in April. Been a long wait. Talking to my friend, me and Matthew Posey went to the same school together. We talk about it every day, in and out of the house, ready to get into the uniform. It was a slow start, trusting your linemen and stuff like that. Just get into it. And once I started believing in them, everything just started coming to me and stuff like that. It got fairly easy, and just let the game come to me, pretty much.
Now, you mentioned you and Matthew Posey went to the same high school, Gadsden City, out in Gadsden, Alabama. And you go from there, you go to Georgia Military College. What was it like, that experience there, being out in Georgia? Coach Mitchell said you didn't look like the same back. What was the experience for your take from it?
Oh, man, it was very challenging. I love football so much, so that's really my only alternative was to go there as a football player. I got qualified late out of high school, so signing day was already taking place and stuff like that. When I got there, it was really a big adversity change. We pretty much woke up every morning 6:30. You abide by people's rules. That's your age. Out, get bullring hours, punishment, and then you got to worry about getting grades, and then you got to worry about football and the coaches snapping on you, stuff like that. It's just a lot in one. And it just took a big part of me to be disciplined enough to, go through the program for a year.
6:30 every morning?
Yes, sir.
Wow,
and put the uniform on as well.
The military uniform?
Yeah.
Wow. I'm a night owl, so I'm normally going to bed around 6:30 in the morning, so I can't imagine what's that like, having to wake up every single morning.
I know, right?
That early. Oh, there's a former Rustler, Jordan Vesey. He's also from Gadsden City.
Yes, sir.
How familiar are you with him? Was he a guy that you looked up to back in Alabama?
Yes, sir. We played my 10th grade year. He was actually starting as his 12th grade year.
Okay.
And we played together, and I remember we was playing Huntsville, and he was blocking for me, and I scored by coming from behind him. And we got a pretty good relationship when he comes down. He comes down here in the summer and stuff like that. When he gets his off time, and he spends time with me and Matt. We are actually pretty close, and we're still close to this day.
Now, explain to the folks where Jordan Vesey, former Rustler, now at the University of California, Berkeley. He was out in Australia. I heard the announcer mention his name as he caught a pass out there in the Golden Bears opening win against Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. Now, Gabriel, I want you to explain where exactly is – our family in Mobile. My brother lives in Mobile. Where exactly is Gadsden City?
It's like – okay, you know what Birmingham is, right?
Yeah, that's more northern, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So like it's like northeast of Birmingham, going closer towards like center and going towards the Georgia line.
Okay.
But it's like it's pretty small. You know, it's we 7A of high school football team, but we raised a lot of athletes, and you know, so that's why we have like, you know, a lot of talent coming through here as it is now.
And of course, you're some of that talent, right? Bringing your act all the way out here to the West Coast. How you like all this warm weather, this sunshine, these palm trees? How is SoCal treating you so far?
Yeah, I love it actually. Over on the East Coast, I'm used to staying in the house, you know, all weekend, play the game, don't do nothing but go to practice, eat, sleep. But out here it's just more of a wider variety of things to do and people to see. So I enjoyed it a lot actually. And less humidity is that as well.
A lot less humidity. Yeah.
In Georgia it was scorching hot like an oven. So,
shirt not sticking to you as much out here, huh?
Nah, it's pretty breezy.
Take us inside the locker room a little bit. John Shipp is the offensive coordinator now. He wasn't here last season. He took a job to be the head coach at San Bernardino Valley College, but he comes back and he brings an offense that has been so great here for the Rustlers for the past few years. They've been running some variations of it after he left to go to San Bernardino Valley. What's it like, you know, being a part of this offense? What are some of the things that he's preaching each and every week to you guys?
Really just effort. He's big on effort. He's big on paying attention, you know, retaining information and making sure, you know, we give 100% effort each and every play. He stays on to me a lot, you know, but he isn't really the type of coach that's going to really jump down my neck because he know I'm going to give 100% effort every play for him. Other than that, he's been doing very, very well for us. I love being around him. I love him as a person as well.
So what'd you do for your offensive line this week? Did you treat them? Did you give them some extra fruit snacks after the game, or what? Those big guys up front were opening up those holes for you. Have you done anything special for them yet?
Nah, I haven't done anything special for them until my check come in, and I'll be able to take them to IHOP or something to get something to eat.
Okay.
Especially Ofaloco. Me and him, you know, we have a good time on and off the field, joking around, you know, talking about each other, just playing around and stuff like that. But we all building a pretty good relationship as a team as a whole, really. So that's pretty good.
In my experience of being around football teams, they always say the offensive linemen are some of the funniest guys on the team. Is that true with this bunch as well?
Two of them are fairly funny. The other ones, they really just like kind of quiet, you know. But they start to open up more as they, you know, get comfortable with the rest of the teammates. So we'll see how that goes later on in the season.
So I imagine one of them was Ofaloto, who you're talking about. Who's the other funny guy on that O-line?
Desmond.
Desmond? Big Des Green?
Oh,
so the big fella has jokes, huh?
Yeah, he's hilarious. But it's usually always Ofaloco. He's always joking with me, trying to tell jokes to me. So I had to get back at him, you know, when I see him.
Now you guys got Riverside coming up. You're new to SoCal, but as Coach Mitchell mentioned a little while ago, Riverside, RCC, ever since Tom Kraft has been there, Coach Kraft now in his 6th year, they've been one of the top teams in the state year in and year out. So far, what have you noticed about them? Have you been able to watch any film so far this week, and what have you seen from the Tigers?
Yeah, I started watching film on them Sunday, and I don't think I've stopped yet. The biggest thing for me, I really pay attention to their four guys up front. They pretty big guys. The right end, he's very athletic. I think they're going to be pretty challenging, the best defensive line we've seen so far. But I believe our offensive line is preparing very well this week. Yesterday we had a pretty good day of practice. As a whole, their defense is pretty good, but I'm up to the challenge. Like, you know, come out and do what I can to make my team successful as possible.
I see the smile on your face as you said that. You're ready to go. How would you describe your running style? Me and Coach Mitchell were talking about it a little bit. I could be dead wrong about what I had to say. As far it seems like you're always on your toes. You never get caught flat-footed. You're always moving. How would you describe your running style? Maybe who's a guy maybe you pattern it after?
I really take out the Todd Gurley a lot. That's the person I really grew up watching and taking after him. He liked to really hit the hole and just go. and I just want to hit the hole and just go. And if you're in my way and I see you, and I feel like you're gonna try to confront me head on, and I'm gonna try my best to run you over. Other than that, I really like to put moves on people as much as possible to just get to the end zone as quick as possible, you know. So, but the biggest thing I've been working on for the last couple of years is pass protection, you know, and I've gotten better at that. The coaches be pretty much commending me pretty well on that, and I'll pretty much continue to do what I'm doing on that.
Now, as you talk about pass protection, well, for Todd Gurley, a guy like you, from Georgia to L.A., now here you are. We're just outside of L.A., with Southern California. Going back to that pass protection thing, likely going to have a new quarterback in there on Saturday. We saw Adam Carr, just a freshman, on Saturday. We saw him get some reps towards the end of the game. But you're a guy, you got some experience under your belt being a sophomore. You talk about that pass protection. How important is it for you to kind of be the eyes for that young quarterback out there this weekend, going up against a very talented defensive line of Riverside? It's
going to be very important because, as you know, Adam went down, but Adam, he was very comfortable. He knew the offense pretty well, and with the new quarterback coming in, he's probably gonna have a lot of jitters, butterflies and stuff like that. So I'm gonna just try my best to make him as comfortable as possible and take as less hits as he possibly can, And that's my job, to protect him, just like my offensive line protect me. So I just got to return a favor for my team.
Absolutely. All right, now you ready to have some fun?
Yes, sir.
All right, here we go. It's a segment we call First and 10, right?
Yes, sir.
Rapid fire, 10 questions. You just give me your answers, first thing that comes to your mind. All right?
All right.
Nickname?
Deuce.
Deuce? Where'd that come from?
Pee-wee. They used to call me Deuce. And anytime I break, they just be like, the deuce is loose, the deuce is loose.
The deuce is loose. Nice. I might have to use that on Saturday. Favorite sport growing up?
Football.
It was always football.
Always football.
Hobbies. What do you do in your free time?
PS4, gaming, 2K17 coming out pretty soon.
Okay.
So.
And got Kobe on the cover, right?
Yes, sir.
That limited edition. Late night snack. It's late. It's middle of the night. What you reaching for?
Oreos.
Oreos
And milk.
Oreos
and milk.
You dunk them?
Oh yeah, they gotta be soft. Only way to eat them. Only way to eat them.
Favorite meal?
Linguine.
Really? Linguine. They make good linguine down there in Alabama?
Yeah, my mom makes really good linguine.
Nice. I'm gonna have to visit Gaston City and see what's up with Mama Ford. Get on that linguine. Favorite team?
Football or basketball?
Both.
Basketball, I would say now the Cavaliers, just because I really like Kyrie, and I like his personality and stuff like that, and how he carries himself. And football, I would say the Kansas City Chiefs.
Really, the Chiefs? Why did it always been the Chiefs, or just now?
Yeah, I pretty much like the Chiefs for a little while now.
Who? I imagine a bunch of the fans down there in Alabama, they're probably either Falcons or Saints fans, right?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite movie?
Transformers.
Yeah. Easy one. Biggest fear?
Spiders.
Really?
Yeah, I don't like spiders, right?
Like any? Are you talking like poisonous spiders or just like any spiders?
Any spider. I don't like spiders. Period.
Pre-game ritual?
Prayer.
Got to get it in.
And watch YouTube videos on other running backs and just take after them and just refresh my mind and get myself right.
So some of those Todd Gurley videos probably getting played on.
Sometimes Tavon Austin, he had a nice senior film when he was at West Virginia.
All right. And celebrity crush?
Jennifer Lopez.
Oh, J-Lo. Throwing it back. Old school. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not even mad at that.
Hey,
J-Lo. Hey, how you doing?
And Megan Good.
Okay.
them the two.
Funny story. I guess I'll share it with everybody. Wife and I leaving. We're out for a friend's birthday party. We're leaving. We're walking across the street. Megan Good and her husband had to stop. Yeah, as we were walking through the crosswalk. Cold thing, I'm just straight ahead, right? I'm with the wife. I'm just straight ahead, right? I'm not even paying attention. She's like, "Did you see what that was?" She's like, "That's Megan Good." I was like, "No way." I'm like, "Oh man, I missed it."
You trying to get caught up?
I miss. She walked right. She drove right in front of me. Drove right past me. Her and her husband in the car. This big black SUV.
Yeah, you was really trying to sleep on the couch that night.
I was not trying to get happy wife, happy life. That's what they say, right?
Yes, sir.
Gabriel, appreciate you
Yes, sir.
for joining us here on the Rustlers Review. This is Gabriel Ford. Huge game this past weekend for the Rustlers. 117 yards and a touchdown. Just 17 carries as the Rustlers were able to defeat Glendale 33-0. This Saturday night, catch Gabriel Ford and the rest of the Rustlers as they take on RCC, 6 p.m. from LaBarge Stadium. Of course, we'll have that for you right here on SportsNetUSA.net. Don't forget, fans, the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review on SportsNetUSA.net is brought to you by Chronic Tacos Huntington Beach at Terra. Stop by for a burrito today. This monster of a meal is made with a 13-inch tortilla, customized however you want it. Rice, beans, toppings, any type of protein, chicken, carne asada, al pastor, all for just $6.99. Check this out. They even saute or beer batter the fish or shrimp for an extra fee. Chronic Tacos Huntington Beach, located on the Edinger side of Terra Shopping Center, 7621 Edinger Avenue, right next door to the Corner Bakery Restaurant. Give them a call, 714-890-6100. That's Chronic Tacos Huntington Beach at Terra. Make sure you visit them today. Special thanks to Nick Mitchell and, of course, Gabriel Ford for joining us here on this inaugural edition of the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review. Remember, we'll be with you each and every Tuesday right here from the Student Center on campus at Golden West College, 12:30 p.m. for the duration of the football season. Also, a special thanks to the entire crew here at Golden West College for helping us get set up. And special thanks to you at home for watching. For all of us here at SportsNetUSA.net, I'm Rashaan Haylock saying thanks so much for watching the Chronic Tacos Rustlers Review right here on SportsNetUSA.net.